Hey guys, what's going on? Sorry, Carly asked me a question right as I flipped my camera over. Welcome back to the Flesh and Blood stream. Tonight, I'm going to be playing a little bit of Maxx. I see that Maxx, I haven't really seen any results from Maxx this weekend. I know that Milwaukee had a Battle Harden this weekend. And it seemed like Maxx didn't really convert or anything. I'm not really sure if people are figuring it out, or maybe Maxx isn't all that in a bag of chips. You know, I'm not really sure. Maxx and Dash are my two favorite heroes from the new set by far, and I've really enjoyed playing the whole Mechanoid suit with it inside of Maxx and like what he can do. So I don't know. I'm really excited to keep playing that and keep updating my list and trying to find more to do with that. Hey Wilbur, what's going on, man? So I'm just, kind of looking to keep pushing that avenue and keep, exploring Maxx and checking out like the things he can do and, kind of just go from there. Also one thing I want to talk about, you guys can see behind me up here in the background, one of a good set of our friends got us an engagement gift, and that's, me and Carly and our cat Taryn, in like cartoon form. And I thought like, what a better place to put that than like in our stream, or in my stream. I just thought it'd be so cool to like have that in the background, kind of give some decorations to the wall behind me. So I thought it'd be really fun to get into that and like just kind of have this up there behind me. What is Flesh and Blood? Flesh and Blood is a strategy card game. It's a TCG, which stands for trading card game. It's just a strategy card game where both players start at 40 and the first person to 0 loses. It's a lot of fun, man. If you like card games or like you're into that kind of thing, it's really fun. You should check it out. It's pretty cool. All right. I'm also really excited that I can just be in the classic constructed queue to be playing all the new heroes now. So I'm playing with the new cards. I think that's really cool. Against Dash.io, I think I want to go first. I don't really think we want chambers or purifiers or anything like that. We're just going to use the mech suit to try and like help us like try and clean up, set it up as fast as possible. I did add Twin Drive to the deck in the interest of making my maximum velocity better, so we'll just run it like this and kind of see what happens. Sort of like Pokemon. Like if you've ever played Pokemon, it's like very similar. Like the aspect of how you play the game isn't very similar, but yeah, like it's similar in the aspect of like that you want that like Pokemon is like a TCG and like trading card game. Yeah, absolutely. So let's just go ahead. We'll go ahead and set up a hyperdriver here. I left my water in there. I'll have to go get it after this game. Our opponent's gonna block. Ooh. Blocking with heist pretty early. They registered 71 cards into us. Interesting. I wonder why. Wonder what their rationale is for having 71 cards. Just worried about getting fatigued, I guess. So we'll load the pistol. Pistol's also a new addition to the Maxx deck. I'm not we tried Banksy the other night, and Banksy just felt super mid. So I think I'm just looking to try and use Pistol. Pistol's felt a lot cleaner in the couple of games I played with it off stream. So Red Boom Grenade's pretty good. Let's see if we draw anything worth talking about. I mean, not really. Nothing great here. Like, we can block with a Combustible Courier and our equipment here, and throw Zipper Hit and Expedite here, and then activate Maxx. So we'll have 2 hyperdrivers in play. Honestly, we might end up blocking more if we need to. I was like, if our opponent like tries to have a really explosive turn where they're just gonna like, try to like come in and like, really take advantage of the fact that they have more blocking equipment than we do. Or I guess they don't actually. I guess it's actually a dead even split. So our opponent activates Goliath Gauntlet. And if they throw the Oprah Loop at us, then we're definitely just gonna give two cards. 2 cards and probably the Hyper X3. Like it's battle worn, so we're not worried about like it dying or anything like that. I don't know if our opponent's like lagging behind here a little bit or what's going on. Okay, so overloop for 7. Now boost away a high octane, which is pretty good for us, so you like to see that. So we'll block 3, 6, 7. I guess blocking with the Bender versus the Hyper X, it's 6 in one, a half dozen in the other. Okay, so all right, so nothing really crazy from our opponent here. Nothing really crazy. So I'm probably going to play Zipper Hit, pitching to 0 to 60. We are going to boost here. And then we'll go up to 3 resources. So we're putting a little bit of pressure on our opponent here. Them setting up the Teklo Pounder is pretty good for them. I haven't really seen a Dash IO list that plays Teklo Pounder yet, so I'm a little surprised to see that. I mean, not that Teklo Pounder is a great card. It just doesn't play into the concept of playing things that cost 0 or 1 off the top of your deck. So it's something you can spark for to set up, like, you know, an extra 6 points. I'm kind of intrigued. Our opponent might just be like theory crafting with their list here just to kind of like see what's going on. I mean, this hand's not bad. We can block 6, play our Hyperdriver, and then pass. And then that'll give us a turn where we can like boost and like have some extra resources, but then we're also like, we're trying to find the Mechanoid kind of quickly here. Like, not that we're like in a super big rush, but we do want to find it sooner rather than later. Having 3 Hyperdrivers in play isn't the easiest thing to do. Like, it does require a little bit of setup, so so they're pitching reds. They're definitely trying to play like anti-fatigue here. I'm going to block the Underloop because it's a card that goes on the bottom of the deck. Okay. That's a pretty good card to play off the top. And that's also something I'm never going to play around. So, I mean, we take 2, go to 38. And then they get to put the Underloop back on the bottom of their deck. Now, they're pitch stacking a little bit here, but they're not pitch stacking super well because they're putting a lot of reds on the bottom. Yeah, I'm just going to go to 36 here. This has no on-hit effects, so I really liked when it highlighted the Dash IO that they played something as an instant. I don't like that it doesn't really do that anymore. No, we won't crank. We'll just pass here. I mean, this could be a pretty good hand, all things considered. If we had like if this was a high octane, this could be a pretty broken hand, honestly. But we'll kind of see what happens. This hand might be block 6 with the Med-X and the 0 to 60, and then pitch our Twin Drive here to try and set up. If we have a pretty good second cycle setup here, we can probably still try to make something happen. If we can get to a point to where we're putting on enough pressure, our opponent's deck seems like it'll crumble a little bit. I mean, I can Arsenal my Twin Drive here. I can go 0 to 60, Med-X. Play Hyperdriver, crank, activate Maxx. And then I'll have 4 Hyperdrivers in play with a Twin Drive in my arsenal. Like, want to be playing offense, so like we need to keep pressure on our opponent here, because they are setting up, like, they have 2 Teklo Pounders in play. Like, they've set up quite a bit of board here, like playing offense, but we need to put the pressure on them. We need to make them feel like they're on the back foot and that they need to be giving us cards here. Because our opponent's still at 31, which means they have a pretty decent opportunity to like flip the script on us here. Yep, let's boost. Kind of wish this was a red hyperdriver. I've also noticed that cutting blue hyperdrivers from our deck has already felt a lot better so far this game. Because the last time I played Maxx, we were on blue. We were on the 9 hyperdrivers. We were on blue, yellow, and red. And we've since cut the blues because it just felt like we had a lot of no blocks in our hand. I would love if they decided to let this hit. Like, that would be great. So I can play the blue medics, and if they give me a card here, then they have one card in their hand, and then I guess I'm pitching the hyperdriver to make a hyperdriver. Or the option is play hyperdriver, crank, and then activate Maxx. I guess let's just go ahead and activate Maxx instead of like trying to put on pressure. We'll just arsenal our twin drive and hope that our turn is pretty good. So we go expedite, go up 4 resources, go down to go play medics. Yeah, so expedite, go up 4 resources, play medics, have 3 resources, play twin drive, boosting 1 time, activate heart, play maximum velocity, arsenal the high octane here. Like, that's a 5, 9, 12, 22 point turn here. Like, it's pretty solid turn. We're also offering 2 effects that make our opponent think that we might... we're offering 2 on-hit effects that, like, our opponent think we might be, like, putting something into play here. So, like, we have a little bit of, like, relevant on-hit effects that might make our opponent think just a little bit. So... if our opponent wants to take this because they have a really big turn, our opponent's just going to go to 9. And we're going to arsenal the high octane here, which is pretty sweet. We're just kind of hoping to find... I mean, we had our mech suit set up, but like now it's... like now we don't have the pieces in play to make our mech suit happen, so we're just like... there went one of them. Sag. If we ever draw a red hyperdriver, we can just put it into play, crank it, and then like if we've boosted, we can activate Maxx so that we get like value out of our stuff. And then come in with the maximum velocity. And they do take this. Interesting. Okay, so we're up 20 points with a high octane and arsenal. It's an interesting game so far. Hey, Batman. Lol. What a funny name. How are you, buddy? Like, I assume our opponent's trying to do something like really good here. They've blocked with 2 of their heist cards, which is like kind of something that I think they would want. Like, do we have an item with cost 0 or 1? No. So heist isn't really looking to do anything so far. So this is for 8. I mean, we get to do some pretty good stuff here with our high octane. That's pretty good. Play that off the top. So we take 11 and go to 25. And they gain an action point, which is pretty good for them. So now we're at 25 and we're only up 9 points. Yeah, I'm just going to take 2 here. Don't really see a reason to get crazy with the blocking. Yeah, so we'll go to 21 and then we'll go to 19 here off of the Symbiosis shot. Pretty good turn from our opponent. Now, they took quite a bit of damage, but they also did quite a bit of damage, so good turn cycle for our opponent there. I mean, that was an 11, 13, 17 point turn cycle plus the 6 they blocked on defense, so... Yep, so let's boost. We'll come in for 5 here. Jumpstart basically just being another zipper hit in our deck. This is kind of nice. Being able to play 6 copies of red zipper hit is pretty sweet. We're up 3 points and we're down about 18 cards. I mean, we've boosted more than our opponent has this game, so... It's just kind of the nature of the game. Let's go ahead and play this, and yeah, we'll crank. And then we can pistol a pretty decent number of times here. Pistol 3 times. I mean, I guess if I wanted to, I could go ahead and use my accelerator to get a 4th one in. Getting the 4th one in would like force our opponent to give us a card, which would be kind of nice. Let's see what they do here, because honestly, I might be inclined to just come in with another one. Like, use... Honestly, I guess I should. Regardless, 2 points is 2 points. I don't really have a reason to hang on to it. We're not going to banish another card. Like, we're not going to, like, take a chance that we banish our mech suit or anything like that. So... We also, unfortunately, might be, like, approaching the point of the game where our mech suit just says block 3 because of the way our opponent has set this up. I'm sure they're going to ask if we can go back. The problem is that if we go back any further, we're going to have to revert the whole turn. And if they have something they want to do differently, then, like, I guess we will. Just because, like, I mean, like, we're playing online. We're all playing to get better here and, like, you know, see what our best lines are. So I'm not going to try and... Where did you get 3 action points from? I played High Octane at the beginning of the turn. So my opponent's trying to... They're questioning, like... I'm... Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so our opponent gives a card here instead of going to 1. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and pop... Well, so let's talk about this for a minute. This is an interesting decision point. Accelerator for an extra point here, or leave the idea of mech suit. I think we have to leave the idea of mech suit. Like, see, this hand is terrible. Like, honestly, this hand might just be block 6, play a hyperdriver. Okay, so that's from hand. That's also from hand. And what, this is 7? So if I go block 3, 6, 7, we're covered. Which means their boom grenade and their penetration script had no value. So they can't play penetration script off the top because they only have 1 floating, so there's no worry of us getting blown out by that. But I am going to take 2 off the symbiosis shot. The fact that they got no value off of their boom grenade makes me feel pretty good here, unless they're just gonna like pull some shenanigans where they actually do get value out of that boom grenade. They could get value out of a different boom grenade, but I don't know how they get value out of that one specifically. It's also worth noting that we've only... Okay, gonna play penetration script as an instant. We've only boosted away 1 mech suit, so we have 2 more in our list that we do have access to. I keep forgetting I left my water in there. I'm going to have to go get it after this game. So, penetration script off the top. Yeah, which is pretty good. I mean, honestly. Oh, they just decided to undo playing the penetration script on their turn? Okay. I mean, they saw another card, depending on how they played it, so... Little uncool, but, I mean, it's fine. Like... So, have 1 floating, have 3 floating, which means I can max and pistol here. So I can actually load the pistol. So pitch 0 to 60 to load the pistol. Data link, zipper hit, harpoon, still have 2 floating, activate max. So this is for 5, and they have to have, or I'm sorry, I guess for 7. Let's show them the 0 to 60. I guess I'm more inclined to block with that if I need to. Hopefully they don't have a boom grenade off the top here. That would be pretty good. Be a pretty solid turn for them. But I'm taking 7 here, going to 10. If I can keep my hand... I'm in an okay spot here. If I can keep my hand, I'm in an okay spot because this gets a card, this gets a card, this gets a card. Okay, so they play Pounder. So the only thing that doesn't get a card here is Pistol, and if they have 2 items, they might just be dead. You get a card, and you get a card. I didn't even think about that till you said that. That's hilarious. Okay, so we're going to go up to 4 resources. We've already loaded the Pistol, because we're going to be able to activate Max, Crank, and then hopefully there's a mech suit on top of our deck. Hopefully we don't boost the other 2 away. That's always a possibility, but hopefully that's not what happens. Banish X mechanologist items you control with cost 1 or 0, then return them. Oh, wow. So they're like on some kind of like combo dash deck. Like where they're just like trying to get all this stuff back into play. This gives me a card. Yeah, if they have 2 items in hand, they're just dead. Unless they have like a red or a blue protocol on top that they can go and get. So there's still a high octane and there's still a max. Well, let's see. Is there a max V left in our deck? No, there's 0 max Vs in our deck. So they're actually just dead here. Yeah, they're just dead here. Unless they have something they can do. The card they revealed is Cognition Nodes, so they could do some shenanigans here. But we still have a mech suit in our deck, and we still have a high octane in our deck. So we're going to activate Max, we're going to crank it, and then we're going to come in with a pistol, which if they can play an item, if they could play one of the protocols off the top of the deck here. So like they pitch to pay 1. They pay 1 to play the protocol off the top of their deck, and then from there they use their 2 resources to activate it, to activate the protocol to get a 3 block back from their graveyard. And whether it's red or blue, I think they're good. I don't think they had any yellow attacks here. Yeah, oh, they did. Yeah, so it could have been red, yellow, or blue, and they were good to go, actually. So, all right, starting off the day 1-0 with Maxx feels pretty good. We just won a game with Maxx where we didn't even assemble the mech suit. That's a pretty interesting thing to think about, in my opinion, just because like the mech suit is like one of the like real anti-fatigue things that like it's in the list to be anti-fatigue. So I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to. I'm kind of intrigued to see how well we play. Like how many games can you win without assembling the mech suit? Because the mech suit is like the #1 thing I'm trying to achieve when I'm playing these games. Also, hang on one second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my water. Also, for anybody who's curious, this is like one of my favorite shirts. It's tacos and cats. It's like one of my Hawaiian shirts that I like to wear. I was talking to Carly the other night, and we were talking to some of our friends, and so like I have an entire closet of Hawaiian shirts that most weeks I just don't really get to wear. I don't wear them during the winter because it gets cold outside, and I don't really wear them during and I don't always get to wear them during the summer just because like I have to go to work a lot, and like I don't get to wear them a ton. So I think I'm going to start wearing them all when I stream. I think my stream is going to be like Hawaiian shirts. That's what the stream's going to turn into. Waiting on an opponent here. I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm hoping to play like aggro matchups. Like, I mean, like if I play against a Bravo, like it's not bad to have to play against Bravo, because I'll bring in like Chambers and Purifiers and like just try to like play like a more value oriented game. Don't get me wrong. We'll still be trying to assemble the mech suit. Like that'll still be like our main objective. All right, let's see if there's like games happening, people I can play against that aren't. You know what? Let's play the mirror. Which is going to be my game that I was just in. It is. It's completely my game I was just in. Last time I was playing Maxx, one of the things that I didn't have in the deck was Twin Drive. Where is Twin Drive? Twin Drive is an awesome card. So this is a card that like I just like. This is a great card. Like it's like the whole boost mechanic is really cool. I'm very fond of this card and like what it does. Like it's just it enables so many different options. Like it gives you so much more variety to play maximum velocity. Plus, also if you have a high octane turn with the pistol, Twin Drive can like give you an extra pistol shot, which is kind of cool. So. Well, we're probably going to be looking to assemble like the mech suit as early as we can. Ooh, Cogwork Space Arms. I wonder if they're playing like... Oh, they boosted a hyperdriver away early. Interesting. I wonder if they're on if they're on any like kind of evos to like try and help like maybe have like a more defensive style game. Holy crap, that's terrifying. So they're putting a hyperdriver into play on turn 0, and they're going to activate Maxx, I imagine here. They're going to crank their hyperdriver, activate Maxx, and then have 2 hyperdrivers in play. And that's like really going to put us on the back foot in a big way unless we find like something cool to be able to do here. I mean, like, our hand's not bad by any means, like, but we're also not like, we're not setting up towards our combo like our opponent is. And I know our opponent is on like the combo here because of their equipment setup. Now, like, I guess they could technically not be on the combo. Like, they could just not be playing combo here, like with the, like, they could just like this stuff, but Hyper X is the best thing to play if you're Maxx, so that's like kind of standard in my opinion if you're playing Maxx. But like the arm piece here, like not being Goliath Gauntlet, makes a very clear statement to me that they are on the mech suit plan just like we are. This hand's not very good, so I'm just gonna block effectively here. We'll just block with Expedite. Like, we don't, like, this card blocks 3 at blue, like, especially in this hand. Like, in a different hand, we might try to make something happen here. I might try to, like, keep a card. I might try to keep T-Bone and Med-X here. If I can keep T-Bone and Med-X, I might try to, like, set up a second Hyperdriver. Oh, they're playing Smash and Grab. Interesting. I'm going to take 2 here. I mean, if this is Smash and Grab, it's going to come in for 7, which means we're going to be blocking with our last 2 cards. And we're going to block with our last 2 cards in the Hyper X. I'm honestly kind of terrified that they've set up their Mechanoid. If you want the truth. Like, if they have 3 Hyperdrivers in play and this is the Mechanoid, like, we've probably already lost this game. Which is kind of tough to think about on like turn 3. Like, that's like something that's like tough to wrap your head around sometimes. And then let's do this. No, we won't crank, and then we'll pass. Okay, so this hand is block 6. Block 6, play Hyperdriver. We'll probably block 6. Play Hyperdriver, pitching the high octane crank, and then come in with the pistol. And then we'll use all of our equipment to set up and like try to play the mech suit. And then from there, we're really just looking for another high octane. We haven't boosted one and we haven't played one or blocked with one yet. So I think we're okay. They have 3 resources floating, which means they could have a Smash and Grab. So, trying to think of like what our hand looks like if it is Smash and Grab. Is our hand just like terrible? We'll block 3. We'll block, or I guess we won't block 3. We'll take 3, go to 34, and we'll see what they like try to play into here. Okay, so they activate Heart to go up to 4 resources. Oh. And then play Banksy? Okay. So I will block the Banksy here because it means that if we're blocking this, it means that we're actually going to make them, if they boost, use all of their Hyperdrivers next turn. And then, yeah, let's crank. And then let's just go ahead and come in with the pistol. We'll go ahead and get value out of our pistol. Trying to amass any damage we can over the course of the game here. Okay, so we can block with 1 card, or maybe we could just try to arsenal a card. I don't know. They could have a pretty explosive turn here, though. We have to keep 4 of our cards to play the mech suit. So let's block 2 and take 3. I still want to try and block like some of our we want to block the more relevant on hit effects that our opponent will have, and they do have some relevant on hit effects. Like, it's not like they're just doing nothing. Like, they have some things that they can actually do into us. Like, they have like obviously they're playing like Heist. They're playing cards like Med-X. They're playing cards like Moonshot. Like, now that's not an on hit effect, but it is cool. Smash and Grab. They're playing Evo Facebreaker. Interesting. Okay, Twin Drive going boost tells me that this is going to be maximum velocity. Yeah, let's just take 5. Like, I really don't want this to be as bad as I think it's going to be. Okay, so Max V here. We're going to go to 21. So we're down 10, and we're getting ready to assemble the Mechanoid. Imagine if this thing costs 3. It'd be absolutely insane. So get rid of all 3 of them, and then we have 8. I guess we'll just go ahead and come in for 6. Like, we might as well. There's no reason not to here. I feel like we can just start applying some pressure. It's also worth noting that we might be able to like try and fatigue our opponent here. I don't think the game will come down to that, because I imagine they have the Mechanoid in their deck. So like I highly doubt it's going to come down to that. Like I don't see that being a world where we're actually fatiguing our opponent, but I mean, you never know, crazier things have happened. This hand is not great. I guess let's block with the Jumpstart here. Like, the Jumpstarts are going to be like some of our worst cards. Now, I know that they're 1 for 5s. 1 for 5s with the Hyperdrivers in our deck, but I'm also like low-key kind of worried about like them not being 1 for 5s, and 2 for 5s are just strictly worse. So Hyperdriver, I imagine they'll crank. Harpoon, no boost. Block 3, take 1. Yeah, let's just go ahead and boost. We'll just play our zipper hit here. Like, we'll block 6 and swing for 11. Like, I mean, that's a 17-point turn cycle. That's a very good turn cycle. And it's also worth noting I didn't block with the Mechanoid last turn. That was intentional. I understand that I have 5 block here that I can just kind of hang on to, but I don't... Like, I wanna wait and try to use my 5 block, like my 5, 4, and 3, like all of the efficient value I'm going to get out of my Mechanoid if I can. Okay. So, unfortunately, this hand's not great. I'm going to block with the maximum velocity here. Like, because we're never going to have a world where we're going to, like, I mean, I guess we could, technically. There could be a world where we, like, play High Octane and play Maximum Velocity and Mechanoid in the same turn. Not likely. That's a lot of setup. Like, that's a very specific set of cards, I imagine. Plus, like, at some point, we have to be blocking, and, like, we don't know when that's going to start. I'm probably just going to use... Probably what I'm going to do is my turn is probably going to be, like, I'm probably just going to block with the Mechanoid here to save some life. And then I'm probably going to pitch 0 to 60 to play Hyperdriver, crank, come in, and then I'm going to Arsenal High Octane and try to have an insane turn. I mean, this is... Yeah, our opponent's thinking. I appreciate them letting me know. Like, that's super nice of them. This is an item technically, so if they hit us with a if they actually hit us with a smash and grab, we could be in a bad spot. Like that is a card that could ruin our day. This being like a 3 for 7 could actually just like ruin us. Okay. Gets rid of Moonshot and Twin Drive. Their next thing gets +1. Right? Is that what that says? Your next Mechanologist attack. Okay, so it's just an attack, so it can be their Banksy too, if they want it to be. If they attack with the Banksy here, I'm actually just going to block with our Mechanoid here. What does this say? You would be dealt damage this turn. Prevent twice that damage. Okay, so this just gives them the option to... Whenever you boost an attack action card, you may destroy a card under this. If you do, the attack gets +2. So that's really all that card does for them. Okay. I am going to crank the Hyperdriver here to be able to get... I'm going to crank the Hyperdriver here to be able to attack with my Mechanoid. Yeah, let's crank it, and then we'll get rid of the last Hyperdriver here. The most important thing we need to keep is our Galvanic Bender. That needs to be the last piece that we actually get rid of. Galvanic Bender is the piece that lets us attack for 6 instead of 5, giving us optimum value off of what we're actually looking to accomplish. I mean, our opponent could just go to 11 if their hand is really good. The more that our opponent, like, gets lower, the better our Mechanoid becomes. Is this an instant? Oh, so this is a Mechanologist instant? Okay, gotcha. So they're actually going to prevent 2. Yeah, so we hit them for 1 there. I mean, I really hope we don't have to block. I'm going to do my best to get to this turn without having to block, because we will eat their lunch. Well, we're immediately going to have to block. This is for 7. I mean, I guess if we let that hit, we're just giving them a Hyperdriver. It's not actually that good. Man, they have went through so much of their deck. Like, we might actually fatigue them. I mean, yeah, let's just block with the Banksy here. Let's get value. Let's block the Banksy. So we can actually play the Combustible Courier here, which is kind of cool. So yeah, and like the resource doesn't matter here. The Combustible Courier is going to be met with Tekla Foundry Heart here just to stop this, because if not, this is a 2 for 5 instead of a 2 for 2. T-Bone gives us another card that doesn't really matter. Like I was like, and then we're going to come in with the Data Link here. Data Link is like opt 1, so it lets us kind of set up our next turn a little bit. We definitely want Harpoon on top of our deck, and now we get to come in with a Mechanoid 4 times this turn, which should be pretty close to ending the game. If not, like, considering they didn't block one, it's definitely going to end the game. We'll get rid of Accelerator here. Like, now our opponent's at 4, and we have 2 more times of doing this. So, like our opponent's just about to get, like, ripped here. This being an action instead of a once per turn action is so broken. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, you kind of have to assemble, like, Voltron to set it all up and make it happen. So it's not like it's just, like, actually insane. But this does feel very good for us. Like, this feels really good to be in this, like, to be in this current spot. Like, to set Mechanoid up in general is just so broken. I have to say the one area that Mechanoid doesn't really shine a ton is against Assassins. Like, because they just have so many things that, like, just destroy the Mechanoid as a whole. And our opponent's dead. Good game, opponent. And we move to 2-0 on the night. Maxx looking pretty strong. I mean, we beat a Dash and we beat another Maxx, so take that for what it's worth. So let's see. We came in with Combustible Courier for 2, T-Bone for 3 is 5, and then Data Link for 3 is 8, and then 24. So we had a 32-point turn, like 32-point combo turn to, like, kind of end the game there. Yeah, I mean, Felt pretty good. We're seeing the more powerful side of our Maxx draws tonight. I mean, still like, I don't really feel like we're drawing or doing anything insane. Like we have put certain cards into our deck and we're just drawing them tonight. We're not drawing them like super high rate. Like we're not drawing them like we're not like doing anything crazy here. We're just like drawing our cards and playing our good cards. I'm curious to see how this matchup goes. I haven't played against a Viserai yet with this deck. So we're gonna load the pistol a bunch here. Like I want to get all of these cards out of my hand. I want to arsenal my jumpstart. That's like, or no, I guess I don't want to do that. I guess I just want to come in for 3 here. And then we'll boost away a blue card. Med-X is a good card because it represents a non-hit effect that we could use for value, but I'm not super concerned about the blue Med-X there. And then we'll activate Maxx. No, we will not crank. And then we will simply arsenal our jumpstart. We did let them do a little bit of filtering that turn, so not ideal. So, I mean, we might as well, I guess we could just hang on to this. This turn's really good. Like, this turn's, very powerful, and, we can do a lot of really good things here. This turn is go up 1. This is 5, 10, 15, 19, 21 points off 5 cards. Let's try to think if there's a better option here, honestly. I'm trying to figure out if there's, a better option than just throwing 21 points. I mean, maybe we're just supposed to throw 21 points here. Because we pitch our hyperdriver to go down to 1, we go back up to 2, play this, play this, play this. Or our turn could be, how can we set up the hyperdriver in a positive way? So we pitch zipper hit to play this, go back up to 1, play hyperdriver, cranking. So now we have 2 hyperdrivers on 1, pitch our other zipper hit to activate Teklo Foundry Heart. Activate Maxx, do not crank, and then arsenal our 0 to 60. So we get to throw 5. We get to spend more cards here. I don't know. Part of me just kind of wants to take our good turn here. Yeah, so I mean, they make a rune chant. Or I guess they're going to make 2 rune chants because the blood debt triggers. Or no, I guess that happens before blood debt. I don't know. And I guess the important thing here is that we're still going to have a hyperdriver in play. We're not just completely gone away from the concept of our combo. We're just taking our 21 point turn here. This is a really solid turn. And if we wanted to activate Heart and use Accelerator, we could make it 23. But again, Accelerator is pretty much always just going to be for Mechanoid combo. I feel like the games where you're actually going to use it to crack and try to have another pistol shot is going to be few and far between, but they do. I think those games will exist. And honestly, maybe I'm just supposed to arsenal my 0 to 60 here. Just have a 17 point turn off 4 cards and then arsenal my last 0 to 60, because if they if our 0 to 60 is at our arsenal, it makes our maximum velocity automatically better if we draw it. And we haven't boosted over 1 yet, so it's not crazy high chance that we draw 1 right here, but it's possible. Anything, anything's possible here. So our opponent's going to take 2 and go to 34. That's what it feels like. Our opponent goes to 34. We throw the pistol. Depending on what they want to do with their turn, they might just pass and just or they might just say no blocks, go to 32. They blocked pretty efficiently that turn, so So we're just gonna pitch, and we're just gonna block the rune chance here, actually. Like, is 0 to 60 worth, like, giving up an entire turn? Probably not, but I don't know. And then this is for 6. They're not threatening a pummel here, and this turn cycle pretty much puts us in a place where our opponent just lost some life and we didn't lose anything. And then I guess we're just going to come in for 3 with no boost here, and we're going to see if they let this hit. They more than likely have a card that they want to block with, so I can't imagine there's a world where this actually hits and they let us opt one, but could happen. You never know. Yep, so they block this out. Every time I see widespread destruction on Talishar, I still think, oh, like, it's still the proxy version. Like, it's still, like, the early version that they put on Talishar where, like, the borders weren't, like, cut very well. And, like, it still just looks, like, not that clean when I see it on Talishar. Yeah, 4, 8, 11, 21. So hoping that I was like, they didn't banish a widespread destruction there. So that's kind of good for us. So we'll take that. They also can't pummel us. If they had a resource floating, we would have to be a little bit aware of the pummel. Been said is like pretty commonly known at this point. I feel like for playing pummel, like, and then this is 6, or I'm sorry, 9 because of the envelop in darkness. So this is 9, no effect. And then we just get to throw 21 at our opponent. So we were up 4 when the turn started, and now we're down 7. And then let's see here. We'll actually get an extra resource, so we can load the pistol here before we start doing our stuff. All right, get an extra resource. We'll come in for 3 here with the zipper hit. This probably gets met by a card, I would imagine. Like, Vincett's one of those decks that likes to play like that weird like value game where like they like block and then like, you know, throw 6 to 7, block 6, throw 6 to 7. So I mean, Vincett's pretty good at like playing the whole like walking the life totals down game, and that's probably one of its like scariest things. Is that like if you're tied with it going in like towards the end of the game, like it's kind of scary. Because Vincett's also playing Spellbound Creepers and like Revel. So they can just randomly be like, oh, Revel. Like cry yourself to sleep tonight kind of thing. So something you have to watch out for. Do. All right. So our opponent actually takes 3 there. I'm a little surprised by that, but hate to see Twin Drive gone. That's a card that plays very well with like a lot of our power cards, so our opponent must have like a pretty good turn here. Like they must have like one of their Revel turns or something if they're hanging on to this. Because I mean, like so far they've taken 7 damage. Interesting. They've just taken 11 damage here, and then we're just going to throw the maximum velocity. Now, they still have their, like, fridge of blocking here if they want it. Like, they haven't used any of it yet. Like, but taking 9 here, like, I assume they'd give Grasp or something just to, like, save some life. But going to 9 is, like, that's a scary thought. Like that's a lot of damage to take in one turn. Like, you're talking about them just taking 21 damage. Yeah. Did I miss something? Where did I get an extra point from? 3, 4 is 7, and 4 is 11, and 10's 21. But they started the turn at... Oh, no, they took 1 off their Blood Debt to go to 30. I always forget that Blood Debt's a thing because Blood Debt hasn't really been a big part of the game since Chain was gone, if you're playing CC anyway. So it's not really something to, like... It's not something that you have to keep in the front of your mind. Like, Blood Debt damage is not a common thing to run into. Carly and I went with a couple of our friends and did an escape room today, and it was a lot of fun. Like we live in, like, I don't know, like just like I think there's like 60, 80, like 60, somewhere between 60 and 80,000 people in the town that Carly and I live in. And, you know, there's not like a ton of major attractions around here, but they put a it's like a dinner theater, like escape room combo in a town about 15 minutes from us. And so we went and did that today, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. Like, it was a really good experience. To, like, Game Master, like, was, like, really, like, you know, like, very interactive and, like, talked to us a lot. Like, it was a cool experience. I'm, like, really glad we got to go and do it. I mean, like, you hate to waste a Harpoon hand, because Harpoon is just so good. Like, and I could just play High Octane from my hand, and if I hit another blue, I get to just go Data Link, Pulse Wave Harpoon, pistol you a couple of times, and if I draw a red, like, if it's a red 0, then I still have 2 floating, and that's okay. And there are quite a few zeros in our deck, because we're trying to make maximum velocity happen as much as possible. Maybe I also need to be thinking about what this turn looks like if I don't get to keep all of my cards. Like, I think we're definitely looking at arsenaling our High Octane here if we don't get to keep all 4 of our cards. So this only costs 3. Or, I mean, this gets +3. Deathly Well. If they had, like, I guess if they pitch a blue to activate Grasp, they can come in with a Deathly Well and pummel it. Or they can just play the Widespread Annihilation. So we take 0 damage here, and then we get to just block 9. We get to keep our life lead here, which is really important. We're, like, really trying to play the value game this time around with Maxx, and I think that's something that I wasn't really trying to do the last time I was playing Maxx. I'm just going to shoot my pistol here. Like, there's no guarantee that I can always shoot my pistol as many times as I want to, just because of the Mechanoid combo. There might be some argument here to me actually not using my pistol for the sake of having an extra time to shoot it with High Octane. But it's 2 now or 2 later. Like, it doesn't change anything here. We also only have 2 equipment block left. We have our quote-unquote fridge with Maxx, if you will. Tickler Foundry Heart just blocking for, you know, 3 over the course of the game, and then Galvanic Bender and Hyper X blocking for 1 each. But if we do assemble our combo, then Galvanic Bender is worth, like, 1 block and 7 offense, which means if you get to play the entire value of the game with Galvanic Bender and Mechanoid, your arm piece is worth like 7 to 8 points, which is, like, so good. Like, making an equipment worth 7 to 8 points is just honestly, like, insane. So we're probably just taking whatever they do here because like nothing looks too scary to me. Okay, so they have to do that. And then this is shadow puppetry, so it's for +1. Who lost a life? Okay, so this is unpreventable, which is fine. They want to make sure. Oh, so they're taking a life. We're gonna guaranteed lose a life, which means they're gonna use Deathly Well to get 2 rune chants here. I mean, I'm pretty inclined just to take 7 here, go to 14. They're gonna break the combat chain. At least I assume they're going to. They're probably processing their on-hit effect here is what we're looking at. So they're going to break the combat chain, give themselves 2 rune chants because they paid for Viserai and we lost a life here. They chose not to banish it. They have to actually click the break the combat chain icon. Okay, or not. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use my Hyper X to block that because they're taking a life here to deal nothing to us, which I would call a total win here. Let's see what we high octane into here. Like, we have a few options of things we could actually hit. I could just play the next high octane, which seems a little greedy. So let's come in for 3. Okay, so there's 1 mechanoid. We haven't seen any other mechanoids here. So this is for 3. They could decide to take this, and if they do, we're actually gonna like really get them with the hyperdriver play here. So our opponent blocks, which I think is pretty smart on their part. We're going to play this. We are going to crank so that we keep our action point. I'm going... Did we boost another mech suit? Oh, no, we boosted a hyperdriver that went under the Hyper X. Okay, gotcha. So this goes into the Hyper X3. So we're going to come in for 5, which, I mean, like, our opponent doesn't have to block. They can take some damage here if they want to, but, like... They're probably going to block. And then we have 3 action points. So we're going to activate Heart. I would have loved to have banished that. Like, I wish that this was just when you banished it. That would be so much better. Like, Hyper X would be insane if that was the case. Hyper X is like, I think people are selling them right now for roughly $50. I'm kind of worried I'm gonna have to pick up Hyper X's for ProQuest season, just because I think that Maxx is gonna be like a solid deck. Like, I think that Maxx presents a lot of value and can do a lot of really cool things. So, all right, I'm gonna arsenal my high octane here, and we're gonna try to have back-to-back big high octane turns. I'm gonna pitch my hyperdriver to play high octane here. Like, by far, like the best play here, because we have potential. They activated Viserai. Yeah, we have to take this, which is fine. Like, I don't think there's a reason for us to block this turn. So we take 6, go to 5 here. I'm gonna see what they do here, because Deathly Delight's for 5. Like, and don't get me wrong, like it's a very good card, but they also didn't take the play of playing 2 cards last turn. And I'm curious to see if they're gonna take their line that they can use to play 2 cards this turn. Okay, so they are going to. Okay. Block 4, go to 2. And my opponent's going to go to 5. Which is tough. Like, we're in that dangerous part of the game where I told you guys, like, this is a very real possibility that we get to a point in the game where, like, we're in rough shape. So let's pitch the hyperdriver here and see what we draw. So we're not really looking to, like, mech suit it up this game, I don't think. Like, I mean, we could. Like, we still have 2 left in our deck. It is still a thing we could do. We no longer have high octanes. We've just had to use our high octanes as value turns. Like, just to, like, have good value. This is 2. Our opponent's not required to give us a card here, by any means. Okay, so they give us a 2 block. Don't really know what those resources are for. Them doing that there makes me think that they're going to just... that they have like a reduced to rune chant. Okay, so they do have a reduced to rune chant. And then we have 3 action points. So technically, we only get 1 card out of their hand unless we want to use Heart. And we want to use... if we want to use Heart and Accelerator here, we can actually get all the cards out of their hand here. I don't know. It's like kind of aggressive because, like... I mean, our opponent might just give us all of their cards. I don't know. Kind of have to see. Yo, what's up, Richard? How are you, buddy? You enjoying a Sunday afternoon, man? All right, so our opponent goes to 3. We're gonna activate Heart. And then we're going to give ourselves the option to be able to actually we're going to give ourselves the option to use our last pistol if we want to here. Because they're going to be forced to give it to us. Which means we take the rune chant. Like, if they go... actually, I think we can just kind of end the game here. Right? Let's make sure we don't do something stupid. So if we get rid of our arcane barrier, they have to pay a life. They have to pay a life to attack us. And they can't do that or they die. So we're going to activate Accelerator. Like, we're taking a chance here, but I think we're giving ourselves our best opportunity here to win the game. Maybe I'm just supposed to pass, since they're already at 1. And then they can't attack us, and this costs resources to activate, so we just have to keep taking all the cards out of their hand, which we're not guaranteed to do, but... wait, what? Oh, I guess we did have 1 more high octane. That's kind of convenient. Finally sat down. Went to see Saw X. Pretty good if you like the Saw franchise. Really digging Maxx. I mean, dude, I was like, I've watched a lot of the Saw franchise like over the years. Like, it's like scary movies aren't really my thing if I'm being honest, but like, I mean, they're good. Like, I've watched a lot of them over the years. I'm glad it was good though, man. I'm glad you liked it. So this is game, right? The only thing that can kill me here is double Sigil of Suffering, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't even think our opponent's on Sigil of Suffering. And dude, Maxx is really cool. Like, Maxx is a lot of fun, and like, Maxx presents a lot of like really cool lines, and I think like forces you to say, if you're going to play like anti-fatigue, like you really got to like make sure that like you're stacking your deck and like you're pitching correctly. Like, it's not a super easy thing to like it's not a super easy thing to like play around. That's one thing that mechanologists has always kind of suffered from, is just getting fatigued. And so like Maxx has that problem more than most, like more than regular Dash and like more than Tickle of Austin, I would say by far. Probably, I think Maxx is the number one hero that can get fatigued, like by far, in my opinion. Like the number one mechanologist hero that can get fatigued. Yeah, so let's just take this. I mean, our opponent definitely could have blocked, but 14.29. That's not bad. I mean, we had an AVPT of 14.29 over the course of 8 turns. That's pretty good. Like, we had 16 cards, so had our opponent like started blocking a little bit sooner, we might have been in rough shape for getting fatigued. I don't know. Like, it's tough to say. Like, without the mech suit, like, mech suit is like really like our big piece of like anti-fatigue that like I play like in the list. High Octane and Mech Suit are the two anti-fatigue pieces that like really help us a lot. We're gonna go first. Like, we want to go first and like set up as many hyperdrivers as we can. If we don't find a lot of if we don't find any hyperdrivers to set up, then it's not great. But so we're only gonna set up one hyperdriver, but I do think we're gonna get to like. Oh no, come back. Come back. We did not want to see that leave. I'm going to Arsenal the Expedite here just in case we can't play it. So, I mean, this turn's like not a lot of damage, but it's pretty good. We get to go Expedite here, which is kind of cool. What does this say? Your next sword attack this turn gets when this hits, create a courage token. So this is 3, and I'm just not going to block this. Like, if they want to use snaps here to get in with their Raiden for 4, like, okay. Or I guess it's for 3. Oh, it doesn't get buffed. It just says when this hits, create a courage token. Like, I'm not worried about blocking this. So we can actually, like, we have a couple of options here. We can pitch our hyperdriver to make it happen, or if our opponent's actually crazy enough to just like let it get put into play, then we're in a pretty good spot. We can also arsenal our hyperdriver here if we decide that that's the route we want to go. Warband of Bologna. I heard this called the headpiece of bologna the other day, which I thought was pretty funny. Destroy this. The next time you attack this turn, you may charge a hero's soul if it's a yellow card. If a yellow card is charged this way, draw a card. I actually opened this in our case. I think Carly opened that one. I opened the Singularity and Carly opened that one, which I thought was pretty fun. Like, it's like, I think this is a cool card. Like, oh, what's that? What's that, little friend? Oh yeah, let's go. You love to see it. And now we don't even actually we don't even have to we don't even have to activate Heart here to be able to play our maximum velocity. Like, our turn was like only 15 points, but 15 points that we put a hyperdriver into play. So next turn, if we draw a hyperdriver, we can block and then just play our hyperdriver, and then we're just kind of like sitting here waiting for our headpiece. Now, unfortunately, that is not how it panned out. This hand's really not that great. Like, this hand kind of feels like block 6. Arsenal. Block 6, Arsenal High Octane. I guess it's block 9 if we're arsenaling High Octane. I mean, I could block 6 and just throw 3 here. I could just boost. I could block Twin Drive Expedite. Let's let our opponent know we're thinking here. If I block Twin Drive and Expedite here, like this turn, not on this attack necessarily, I could throw T-Bone boosting to get like more value out of getting their pieces here because they do have temper pieces all the way around. So T-Bone actually has some pretty good value here. And then we get to just like activate Maxx. No, do not crank it. And then we get to Arsenal High Octane. Man, it doesn't seem terrible. Let's take this. This isn't an on-hit effect. It's nothing that like we really need to like play around. Plus, we're gonna need to block that stupid Raiden. God, Lumina Ascension's such cancer. I mean, not really. Like, Bolton needs something, but like, I hate playing against it. Oh, no, that's not even the right card. Good lord. He gets to throw this twice at me, I think. I mean, we stopped his Lumina, basically, from having, like, any real effect here. I mean, not really. Like, it did stunt our turn, even though we had already planned on blocking with those cards anyway. So, the chess piece is the one that, like, lets you do shenanigans with your soul and, like, block some damage. And then we'll just pass and Arsenal this here. I mean, this looks like a pretty good hand to just kind of, like, try and go ham a little bit here. Hopefully we draw into a blue off of our high octane. I can't talk right now. How many blues do I have in the deck? I can't remember. Let me look real quick. There's 18 blues in our list, so there's not a ton of blues in the deck. Like, why do you make a Quicken token? Oh, he charged something that says create a Quicken token. I do like the the whole Banneret things that like have effects when they get charged. I do think that's kind of cool. And honestly, like, seeing Bolton get support is not something I'm ever upset about. Like, who's going to be upset about Bolton getting support? You know what I mean? Like, Bolton's cool. Like, I don't know who has a problem with Bolton. This is 6 go again. Yeah, I'm just going to take this here. And then come in for 3 on hit, make a courage token. So I have to go to 17, but I hopefully get to have a pretty explosive turn here. So let's start with the high octane. We did not hit a blue. Okay, so we hit a hyperdriver there to go into our Hyper X. We're going to come in for 5 more. And then our opponent could, like, you know, think that we have another blue here. So our hand could be a lot more dangerous than it actually is. If our opponent just has the... if our opponent just has the Lumina Ascension turn in their hand again, then they're definitely just going to, like, not block here or do anything with it. No reason for them to, like, do anything. They decided not to do. They decided not to charge their soul. So we just used High Octane basically to not boost an extra card there. I guess technically I could have boosted and activated hard if I wanted to. Probably, I mean, maybe I should have there 2 extra cards. It's kind of worth it. They kept their cards, so it's pretty clear that they don't want to block. And this hand definitely isn't all that in a bag of chips. So I guess I can just block 6 here. I really don't want to let them draw a card off the Bolt of Courage. They're definitely going to bolt and then give go again here. Hopefully they don't have, like, Courageous Steel Hand, I think it's what it's called. The, like... Oh, I just had to say something, didn't I? Yeah, if you've charged this turn. So we're going to take 2, and they're basically playing a Snatch there. So and they have a Quicken token, which, I mean, they can raid in the middle of the turn if they want to. Dude. I mean, I'm going to block because, like, even with the Hyperdriver in my hand, I still have the ability to just pitch the... Yeah, I got to take 8 here. or take 4 and go to 8. I can pitch the hyperdriver here to the pistol to come in. This was the one problem with Banksy that we ran into, is that if there was ever a hand where you were stuck with just hyperdriver in your hand didn't do anything. You couldn't pitch Banksy, like you couldn't pitch to Banksy. You couldn't really do anything with it. So interesting. Just looking to get rid of their equipment, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Block with Twin Drive this turn and hope that we can harpoon our way to victory. That's gotta be, like, I think that's just gotta be our play. Is like, we go Twin Drive going boost, we go up to 2 resources, and then we go harpoon. What does this card do? Yeah, I mean, we take 3, go to 5. There's no reason to block there. I might as well just take 3 here. Like, even if they have a Courageous Steel hand, I'm not going to die. And their turn is more than likely just going to be Raiden after this. And if it is, I'm just going to... Oh, this is for 5? Oh, because it's +2. So I take 4 and go to 1. And then hope that our hand is good enough to get us back into the game. It's probably not, just being realistic, but... We're gonna hope that it is. No reason to boost there. Like, doesn't help with anything. They have to show us 2 cards, and then I'm really hoping that they decide to block with a card here. Like, I would love to see them block with a card. That's a little disappointing. I am going to boost because I want them to show me 3 cards, and I want to be able to take a card here. Yeah, this is just going to be them taking my whole hand here, I think. So I think I'm going to take one of their reds. And they can go to 1, or they can give me the last counter on their Soulbound Resolve. If their hand is kind of awkward, they might decide to give us 2 cards. Obviously, they don't. Though they do charge a card. Interesting. So we're just going to pass. Maximum velocity showing up in a little bit of an awkward hand is not great for us. If I'm able to block 6 this turn, not likely. Yeah, and then anything... Well, I guess they haven't charged this turn. Oh, and they did charge a card, so they're going to deal 1 to us. Well played, opponent. That was a good game. I mean, like, we had an AVPT of 17 across 6 turns, and we lost, so Bolton putting up some pretty impressive numbers there. I think one of the biggest reasons that we probably weren't able to cross the finish line there is because, like, so had I went for heart and the extra pistol shot, they would have been forced to give us another card there earlier, which would have been better for us. So that was actually, like, so me misplaying there in the middle of the game actually, like, cost us some points that might have put us in a better position. I don't know that we would have won that game, but it definitely would have given us more options and more outs there at the end of the game. If they're forced to block with a card earlier, then do we still want to go first? I think we do. I don't know. Like, against Lexi, is it just such a race that we want to go second? Let's go second. Like, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's correct here. Math Rogers. Lol, that's hilarious. I don't know. But, like, so had I made a better play there in the middle of the game, like, it would have changed our hands, so I don't know how that would have affected us the rest of the game, but it would have definitely put us in a better spot. like just based off the outcome of the game and how it played out, had I taken the heart and the pistol to boost there's 3 cards out of our deck, but we weren't close enough to the end of our deck for that to really be our concern. I don't know if going second is correct because Maxx likes to set up and Maxx likes to have that like little bit of early action there where you can put a hyperdriver into play. And this would have been a great hand to go first with. But, you know, I mean, now we'll never really know, I guess. Like, I said second just because I want to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, let's go second. Okay. I mean, excuse me. I mean, yeah, like that's kind of fine because like that's just really good for us. Like I'm honestly one card. Like if this was a 0-cost boost card, we could just get them here. So boost, or I guess we're pitching velocity to load pistol because of the inertia. Oh, we're waiting to discard a card here. Yeah, let's discard the hyperdriver. Like, I'm curious to see if they're gonna throw stuff at us. Come on, 0-cost boost card, 0-cost boost card or a blue. Either one does it here. 0-cost boost card or a blue. Seriously, game. Man, like I know that we had a lot of outs there, but we also had not a lot of outs there, so I don't know. Zipper hit, harpoon, play this. It feels like it's what it's got to be here. Yeah, we'll boost. Like that's pretty unfortunate here. Sleep dart. Like turning off our hero ability is interesting because I don't really know if it's one of those things that's going to matter or not. Bolton shot and Falcon wing. Okay. So we're just going to play this and then no, we're not going to crank. I don't think the pistol's worth it here. We're just going to pass. We're going to go maximum velocity and expedite. This is a pretty not great hand, honestly. I think I'm just taking 7, like giving them the premeditate, like the ponder here off the premeditate. Like we could attempt to stop this turn. Yeah, like no way. And if this is like 3 of a kind from their hand, I was like, man, I'm just gonna cry. So, and this is for 6, so I have to go to 25. Okay. So I can just block 5. We can block 5 and set up 2 hyperdrivers here. So we'll have 3 in play, which means if we do draw a mech suit, we can try to set up the mech suit as early as like turn 3, which is pretty cool. So if I boost here and then go Maxx, crank, hyperdriver, I'm then in a spot where I'm just blocking out and trying to find it. Yeah, like we're trying to set up here. We're doing what we can. I mean, and if we always get a good turn, we can always just take a good turn, I suppose, but okay, no, we won't crank and then we'll just pass. Okay, so it's not in this hand. So this is for 5. I want to arsenal the high octane here. I mean, let's think about this here for a second. Like, is it possible with 3 hyperdrivers in play to get the max V off this turn? No, because even if we draw a boost card, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to take 2, go to 23. We're just going to try and block effectively and hang on here. Because if we ever have a chance where we can set this up, we might be able to do something. They choose go again there. So we'll block this. Use Tunic to come in for 5. We'll block 3 and take 2. The hamstring shot is just irrelevant to us. My turn's going to be throw the pistol and pass. Hyperdrivers being able to sit around until we actually get value out of them is pretty cool. The only problem is that we don't know when we're going to draw the mech suit. Like, we have no way of knowing when that's coming. Our opponent's just keeping their hand because it's good. Again, no mech suit here. This hand doesn't even block 12. Like, this hand only blocks 9. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. We have Rain Razors and 3 of a kind. Sometimes I watch my opponents like draw cards and I'm like, man, I'm really not that lucky of a person. Like when it comes to like drawing cards. I mean, I'm just going to block 5 here and take 1. I was like, and they pass? I was like, what? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I was like, you can at least throw your... I was like, you can at least throw your endless arrow at me. It's like, that makes no sense. I mean, they're probably just going to snap this. Okay, so they drew cards they can't play. Like, that is step 1. That is what we needed to happen. We also needed them to miss right there. Like, them having an off turn off of a 3 of a kind Rain Razor's turn was very good for us. Yo, what's up, man? How are you, buddy? Sure, Axel. I hope I'm saying that right. I might not be. I like people have some pretty interesting names on like YouTube and Kick and stuff like that. So I'm always like trying to like make sure that I pronounce it right. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's a swing and a mish. So, but how are you, man? You doing all right tonight? All right. So we put our opponent to 25. I mean, we might just be taking some damage here. Hoping our opponent's hand isn't that scary. Because this is, like, really good. Like, I'm hoping this is only 2 arrows from them. Like, please, no Bolton shot. God. Of course, I say that and they immediately flip Bolton shot. Yeah, there's no way that giving them a 3rd arrow here is correct. Like, it just can't be. No way. And, like, if I want to... I'm good, man. I'm glad to hear it. I'll race you. Dude, what are you talking about? Race me to what? What did I forget what I said already. That would make you say that. So, I guess I just like is them having the endless arrow going to do anything for them? Like, they already have Ponder and some stuff, so it just means we're forced to block it later, I guess. And we've already seen 1 endless arrow, so if I block 6, like, either way, I can take 1 or take 2 this turn. And I feel like right now we're, like, at the point of, like, trying to figure out how we want to be blocking things effectively. Endless arrow is tough because it's a snatch that always draws a snatch. So if I block 3, take 1, go to 19, and then I block this. Yeah, it's take 1 or take 2 here, and I'm trying to hang on as long as humanly possible to find my mech suit. And it was ironically the second card I boosted over this game, so now I'm like really just trying to actually hang on until I find it. And then we'll just block this here. Like, they're going to have 4 cards to choose from to arsenal here, so like them having the Endless Arrow doesn't really give them any value. The only thing that like we really lose out on is our High Octane goes to the bottom. So if they have a Codex of Inertia or a Codex of Frailty, like any Codex effect, we're just really in a bad spot. All right, well, we're going to hope that they like, yep. Okay, so let's think about this. If I block 3, take 4, and then... Yeah, I just have to get this in play. It's going to be our only shot to win the game is to get this in play from here, I think. Yeah, like I don't see another way out of this game from here. That's really bad for me. That is like so bad for me. So take 6, go to 9. Man, so like I'm already at 13 eventually, so take 6. Like no, because then I'm just at 1 and the Hornet Sting kills me at any point in time. So I have to take 6, go to 9, then go to 7, and then I have to arsenal the mech suit here. Like it's all I can do. And then that's the 3rd Rain Razors they've seen. So they've seen 2 pre-meds and 3 Rain Razors. So I'm kind of hoping they're out of pump spells. And that I can give 2 cards here. And that 2 cards will be enough to let me stay in it. And unfortunately I'm at 7. So like it's not great. Oh my God, no. Jesus. I still need their hand to be like, now I need their hand to be mediocre, and I need their next hand to be mediocre, and I'm asking that of the most powerful deck in the format, like. I mean, yeah, we're just going to block here. We're going to pistol them. And then pass. Man, I needed this hand to be good enough. I needed this hand to be like, man. Crazy part is I could have like considered taking a little bit of damage had I like if I had a blue, I would have blocked 1, taken 2, went to 5, and then taken a chance. Yeah, so like obviously this is just how this is gonna go. It's very unfortunate that this is how it all shakes out. Like, we take 1, go to 6. They're gonna throw whatever else they have at me. Like, the crazy part is like my opponent has drawn in a fashion that gives us a chance. Like, they just actually have. My opponent has drawn in a way that gives us an opportunity to just not lose this game. They've had some like kind of like mid hands and like stuff that doesn't really do anything crazy here. I have to take 3 and go to 3. I was like, hopefully they don't snap and Codex me here. That would just be like, that'd be, the game would be over at that point. I'm going to be honest, I think I've just lost now. I don't think there's ever a world, like, I don't know what world my opponent is going to let me keep 2 cards from here, like when I'm at 3. Like I think even all blue arrows does me in here. Like, we had the chance, and unfortunately Variance just gave it to us there. Like, Variance just was not our friend. We drew 2 all red hands in a row. When I think if had so, I mean, in the first hand, if the first hand had a blue in it, we could have taken some damage because they had a blue searing shot, which means we would have been at 4. Or no, we would have taken 3 from 7 to 4, and then we would have taken 3 and went to 1. So we're going to block 6 here because we have to, and then our opponent's going to use their Tunic to throw the Heat Seeker at us, and we're going to block 3 and die. So man, that's unfortunate. Like, we also didn't see, so we saw 2 copies of the mech suit. Like, I mean, we were probably 20 to 25 cards through our deck, I would say. We were about 20 cards through our deck, so 2 1/3 of our deck is like above what we should see it in, I would say. Like, just coming out on the bad side, like on the bad side of I just came out on the unlucky side that game. I don't know that we would have even won the game had we got to flip it, but that was our out. Our out was flipping mech suit there and like having the 5/4, like having all the extra block, and then just being able to block from our hand and throw whatever we had left. Because then our opponent's forced to like try and set up a little bit of fatigue, and if they can't, then or try to set up some like anti-fatigue. Your opponent is dash main. I guess we're gonna go first. Gotta be honest, I don't really know how to board for this matchup. Like, I think maybe we try to use Mechanoid. I'm curious to know if Mechanoid can be our anti-fatigue. Let's just try it with our 60 that we have and just see what happens. I'm just curious to know if like our 60 is good enough to beat dash, however they sideboard. One thing, I don't think we'll beat enough to beat control dash with our 60. I just don't think it's possible, but if our opponent's playing control dash, then our opponent's playing control dash, which they are, so great. Woo! Yeah, I don't think there's ever a world we're gonna win this game. Like maybe like literally just ever. Like, and the funny part is that if our opponent is like wanting to play against us because they want to know if they can beat us consistently, like, I don't know what? They gotta have a defense reaction here. Okay, yeah. I was like, if you're playing control dash into a Maxx or into a dash that is not prepared to play the long game, like, you don't need to test that matchup. If you can't beat that matchup, stop playing control dash. Like, and I mean that like respectfully. Like, I really do, because like if you can't beat a Maxx or a dash that's like trying to play aggro into you, like boosting, and you're playing like a control-y style dash and you can't beat it, then like you really need to go back to the drawing board, because that's pretty bad. Like, that's pretty tough. This hand is very good. Hopefully they can't set up some evos or items early, and that we can just try to play the game and try to like run them over a little bit here. So if we play high octane, we'll have 2 resources left. If we draw into a blue, like, we get to do some kind of cool stuff. Yeah, so we were 1 card off being able to throw Max V here. Actually, we can still throw Max V, can't we? Yeah, we can actually. Let's go Twin Drive, getting us some value. You love to see it. So we go Boost here, which I'm sure is pretty, like, our opponent's probably like wondering why we went Boost there, but and then you probably just give us a Skull Cap here, take 1 if I had to guess. That's what I would do. Okay, I mean, I guess you can't take that with you. You got to use it at some point. And then come in for 10. So maximum velocity looking pretty good here on the second turn of the game. Be a lot better if we were racing our opponent. Our opponent just taking 7? No, okay, so they're gonna play Respite here, which makes sense. Yeah, so they're on hard control dash playing like sigils and stuff. Yeah, like this game is so over. I don't even think we can beat this with the Mechanoid suit in our deck. They're just gonna shoot us for 2. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just block with this. We have no reason to keep it in our deck. We already have one in our arsenal, and there's one more in our deck, so... No, I guess we can't do that, can we? Because we need to activate Maxx. Boosting over... I guess we can load the pistol, actually. Boosting over a high octane is definitely not going to help anything. Like, that's definitely not going to do us any favors. All right, so we've lost 3 of our 6 power cards so far. We've boosted over a high octane and 2 maximum velocities. This is the unfortunate side of the boost mechanic, is that sometimes you just get got. Die for each other. We're cool for the summer. Do. That song was on the radio earlier when me and Carly were in the car, so I have it stuck in my head now. I mean, yeah, if you want to throw it at me, that's fine. So, block data link. There's only one high octane left in our deck, so we actually need to be really careful. So, block 3. Let's just do this. Let's block 3. Let's block 6 here. And we'll set it up. We get to use Med-X because we can put it into play here. If we boost over our last high octane, then our chances of winning the game, I would say, like, our percentage drops pretty heavy. I think we still have a decent chance at winning this game. Just at the concept that we can use the Mechanoid here to, like, create some problems for our opponent. We just have to be able to keep the we just have to be able to keep a high octane and set up like a big 5-card hand. Like, we're probably gonna have to have like a 40 or so point hand. Yeah, I guess let's crank and we can gain an action point here. We can activate Maxx. And then I guess we can crank and pistol twice here. Because we know we're just going to be setting up the Mechanoid next turn. I'm kind of surprised our opponent's taking as much damage as they are. Like, they're up on cards. Like, I don't really understand what they're keeping. Like, what in their hand could be worth keeping. Like, unless they're, like, on some kind of, like, weird pummel plan and, like, they're just going to Command and Conquer pummel me here. Like, I'm probably not going to, like, block in a way that, like, plays around that. Okay. Yeah, so they're on, like, the Evos, and the Heart is, like, kind of neat. I feel like this deck probably has a harder time with Dromai, if I had to guess, just because they probably only have, like, 10 to 12 poppers, if I was guessing. So let's go ahead and add a steam counter to the pistol again. Let's play Mechanoid, pitching some reds here. We'll try to set up a little bit of an aggressive hand. We'll get rid of these cards. And then I don't really think it's worth coming in for 6 here. Maybe it is. Like, we'll just have to be careful when we attack and when we don't. If we had boosted over a hyperdriver and we had a 9th. Oh, wait. No, it's definitely not worth attacking just because of the... Just because of this rounds on me. I completely forgot about this effect. And I'm definitely not going to attack here. So we're going to go Med-X, Jumpstart, Expedite. This hand's not great at all. This hand's not very good. And there's only one high octane left, so we need to be pretty careful about boosting. Like, but again, like, I don't really think we can just let this hand pass us by. Because, I mean, this turn is 4, 8, 12. Take a card from your hand. And then this is a 20-point turn off of 4 cards. And we get to Arsenal a hyperdriver. Okay. Use that tunic counter. Sure. I mean, I don't have anything with a -1 counter on it. So, like, you making me block... Like, you playing that card does nothing for you here. Yeah, we're just going to take 2. There's no world where I'm probably ever going to use the Mechanoid block on a pistol unless I just really need that damage. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that being a thing. Dude, can you, like, please decide what you're going to do here? I mean, I might as well block this, I guess. I don't think they really have a way to, like, punish me for blocking. They pitched a Sigil of Solace and played a Sigil of Solace, so let's please not hit high octane here. That's pretty much all I'm saying to myself this turn. We're just kind of hoping we don't hit a high octane. I mean, because, like, if we play this game and we, like, bring in the pistols and stuff like that, like the pistol items, like, we're just forced to take out the mech suit. They have this and an unmovable. I guess let's take this. Like, and if I don't attack here, they're just not going to play the unmovable, and then they're going to arsenal it, and then it's just going to get better. But they might just give me the unmovable here and take a turn off. Like, and I want to make sure they don't have any kind of defense reactions set up in their arsenal. So, play Hyperdriver. Yes, let's crank. Play Hyperdriver. No, don't crank and pass. And so, we'll just arsenal our Twin Drive, and there's our high octane. That's what we needed right there. So, we're gonna try and make it happen. Please don't have Command and Conquer. Like, please don't have Command and Conquer or, like, something that I actually care about. Like, just let your turn be a Fighting Spirit or, like, pistol me a couple times or something boring. Like... Because, like, I think this turn can be really good for us. 5, 8, 10. And then that's 4 boosts right there. And we have 2 other resources. So if we draw a 2-drop, like, if we draw, like, there are no more maximum velocities, right? Yeah, we determined there are none. So, but even if we draw, like, another Twin Drive, or if we draw, like, a, I don't know, like a zipper hit or anything, like, we can play it. Because we know we have the resources from the hyperdrivers, so we're really just looking to, like, push as much as we can here, because this is We'll have 5 action points, which means this is going to be 30 from this alone. God, man, it would feel so good to actually win the game against this Control Dash deck because of the Mechanoid. That would be such a would be so good. I really don't want this game to be over. Like, I really don't want to, like, hit claim victory here. I really want our opponent to come back. Like, God, please tell me they didn't leave. Like, I really want to get to play this turn. Come on. Please. I need to know if this is good enough. Like, this is actually pretty important for, like, ProQuest testing. Like, I need to know if this is good enough. Because I think people will play Control Dash at ProQuest testing. Like, at ProQuest. I mean, I want to wait and see what happens here. But, like, if our opponent doesn't come back in the next, like, you know, minute or two, I'll just have to, like, leave the game here. Hey, what's up, Max? How are you? Oh, man. Like, this turn has so much upside. Now, they could have a Command and Conquer and, like, try to, like, ruin that a little bit for us. So, like, we're looking at play T-Bone, or pitch T-Bone to play High Octane. And then we're going to go Twin Drive going Boost, Boost, T-Bone, 0 to 60. Which is 10 points. Like, that's 10 points by itself, plus whatever we draw. And if it's a 2-drop, excuse me, we know we have the ability to play it. And if it's another boost, that gives us 6 attacks with the Mechanoid, which is 36 damage by itself. Oh my god, please come back, opponent. I want to play this turn. I want to play this turn. Like, I don't know that I've ever actually wanted my opponent to, like, just let me play a turn so bad. I really wish there was, like, a feature on Talishar like there is on Moto that says draw your next card. No. Man. I was, like, hanging on to a dream here, hoping that we got to actually do this. I mean, we have 30 points from the Mechanoid this turn, and 10 points right here. So we're looking at a minimum of 40 points right here, which definitely won't kill our opponent, but I'm hoping we'll put them low enough to, like, get close to ending the game. So you're talking about a 40-point turn. They have 3, 4, 5, or they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 13, 16, 20 that they can effectively use to block with. I'm just gonna say 20 because I imagine one of these is a defense reaction here. Oh man. All right, I think we kind of have to move on, unfortunately. I kind of think we have to move on here and just take the win, which is so sad. Man, that was disappointing. That was really disappointing. Oh gosh, I like, ah, man, I wanted to play that so bad. I wanted to make that happen. All right, so Fi is going to be interesting. I mean, I think, again, we're just, like, trying to play our 60 card setup here, and they're going to go first, playing Fi. Interesting. They're also like representing 70 cards into us. I mean, we can Arsenal High Octane pretty early here. Take the first Kadachi. For sure. Okay, it's waiting on our opponent to pick something. Flick Knives, huh? What is this? This seems like some spicy stuff over here, opponent. I don't really know what's going on in our opponent's world over here. This is pretty... I mean, I really don't want to, but if I have to, I'll block with the High Octane. I really don't want to. They also have no mask, which is like... This is so weird. Okay. I mean, I assume they're going to want to Arsenal their last card, so I'm going to block this. Like, what? Are they playing cash in? Are they trying to see if Crown of Dominion is worth more than... If Crown of Dominion is worth more than, Mask? I mean, I think we have to just put both of these into play. Like, putting both of these into play just does so much for our game plan so early. Setting up 2 Hyperdrivers isn't exactly how I imagine our first turn going, but... Block Expedite. Actually, we get to just block Zipper Hit and Combustible Courier here. Yeah, block Zipper Hit, Combustible Courier, play Expedite. Boosting. And then, yeah. And then we get to play Expedite, boosting, getting 2 resources, activate Maxx. Inflame. I mean, yeah, I'm just going to take 1 here. Like, this is just a 0 for 2 here in their deck, so... I'm pretty cold on HyperX. How's it been playing? I mean, so I think HyperX, like, gonna be honest, I haven't really seen the value of actually getting to draw cards with this card. Like, I haven't really seen that effect very often, especially considering we're only playing 6 Hyperdrivers in our deck. I'm only on the red and the yellows, but I don't know what else you're playing in the head slot if you're gonna play the Mechanoid. Like, if you're playing Mechanoid, I think you're just kind of forced to play HyperX because it's the best arm piece that you have access to. Or the best headpiece. Sorry, I'm having a stroke. It's just the best headpiece that you have access to, in my opinion. So I don't know what else you'd be playing. This feels weird, like, to just be taking all this, like, these pings right here, but like, because they have Crown of Dominion. Is Royal Fi a thing? Like, has anybody in the chat seen this? Am I, like, way late to the party on this? And if I am, that's fine. I just want to know. Oh, yeah, Mechanoid? Yeah, Mechanoid is, like, the reason that I'm playing this card. 100%. So... if I block 5 here, I get the most value out of my heart. But if I don't block with it, I save my heart for potential, like, 5 cost block. I'll just wait on the heart and, like, just take the chance that I don't hit here. Isn't Cogwork legs better legs too? So it says if you've boosted, pay 1 to gain an action point, right? Is that what the leg cog says? So we don't actually have anything to put into play here, but activate Maxx. And then no, we won't crank. and we'll just go ahead and arsenal the Mechanoid here. I'm really just gonna try and block with one card this turn if I can. I'm just gonna try and block with the maximum velocity here so that I can set everything up and then arsenal my high octane. So I'll take the first Rising Resentment here. Yeah, doesn't the leg piece just say like pay 1, gain an action point? I mean, so the AB is like kind of relevant, and like I think we'll have play into certain matchups. But like you could be right. It could just be better to play something that actually just says gain an action point over doing something else. So I mean, that could be like that could be, it could be better to try that. Like maybe it's worth trying. I assume that like when I was putting the list together in my head that I was like, oh, I'll want this for AB. It's probably what I was thinking, but trying to think. The last thing that, like, the worst thing they could throw at me here would be Snatch. And if they have Snatch, I mean, they have Snatch, like, activate Phi. This makes me really think they're just going to arsenal their last card here. I was like, I could be wrong, but that's really where it feels like we're going right now. So, play Mechanoid, which is, like, so good. Like, there's so much value in doing this, and then let's come in for 6. One of the other reasons that I really like the Hyper X headpiece is that anytime we actually boost or anytime we actually put a hyperdriver under our headpiece, we have the capability, like, it gives us an extra turn of attacking with a Mechanoid, which is pretty good in my opinion. So that's like one of the bigger reasons to be playing it as well. Having 8 like things under this instead of, like, you know, or having 9 instead of 8 is pretty good. This hand is like so insanely good. Looks like they finally drew their cash in though. Don't trust me, I've been drinking. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, brother, I hope you were having a good time drinking. I hope you were enjoying your Sunday. Or if it's not Sunday, wherever it's at in your part of the world. And they're playing Tome of Imperial Flame. This is so spicy. Cash in, they're trying to play like Empress, or I guess Emperor Phi. I guess it's not Empress because Phi is a dude, but oh yeah, pulling them into the mech. Yeah, having them in the mech is like pretty cool. Giving yourselves extra attack, giving yourself extra attacks is pretty cool. So this hand is high octane, boost, and then we have 0 to 60 and or harpoon depending on what our actual. Depending on what we actually draw into. So they pitch, this card says you may pitch 2 red cards if you don't banish your hand. So it gives them 2 resources that they can use. So if they pitch 0 here, their Kodachis are already turned on. I'm kind of intrigued by what's going on here. The problem with their deck that I'm seeing so far, and it could be like bad draws for them, I don't know, but the problem I'm seeing so far is that their hand isn't doing a lot. Like, their hands don't have a lot of damage. They haven't really, like, put a lot of pressure on us yet, so I haven't really felt, like, threatened by anything. They're going to play another one. Go back up to 5 cards and then go down to 3. They pitch Take the Tempo and Snatch. So they are on Snatch. So they do have some really heavy-hitting cards. They've just seen some of their lower-end cards. Like, they're playing Inflame. Like, I don't know if they're on, like 5 blues in the whole list or something like that. I honestly wonder how these Tome of the Imperial Flame decks like play against Icelander. I feel like Icelander just wrecks these decks. like just with all these reds, like I just feel like you're not able to keep up if Icelander has like even a remotely decent draw. Does anybody have different experiences with that? Anybody actually played into that? Also, does anybody know, is the PTI event going on? I'm curious. I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm curious to know if the PTI event's going on. Okay, so they're playing blue Rise from the Ashes. I mean, we're just going to block this with the Mechanoid here. Like, seems like our best use of this. And, like, they're going to have to do something really, really dang impressive here for me to block without, like, other than the Mechanoid. The PTI finals is Dromai versus Lexi. Ooh, that's exciting. And they're going to throw a Kadachi at me. Target dagger you control that isn't on the active chain link deals 1 damage to target hero. Okay, so they hit me for 1 damage with a Kadachi there. Pretty interesting. I mean, maybe they're just going to, like, combo me here. Maybe this is just, like, combo town. Oh, this is for 6? So I guess I should hang on to this for something else. I mean, they do get another card off the top of their deck. Ooh, Concealed Blade. Interesting. So they're playing some number of they're playing some number of blues in their deck. So they banished a Rising Resentment off the top of their deck. And they attached another Kadachi. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna block. Like, I'm down a bunch, but I'm also about to go ham. Like, they had their big tome of the Imperial Flame turn, and now I'm about to have my high octane Mechanoid turn, which I'm hoping is going to be for a lot. Yeah, this is for 1, so I mean, technically, I guess I could block this to stop, like, if they have an effect, but we know that the card in their hand, we knew that the card was Phoenix Flame because they just activated Phi. This was a really cool turn for them, but, like, none of it was, like, it was nothing other than just, like, raw damage there. I wasn't worried about anything. So can I actually do it all here? Wow. This is going to be such a good turn. So Twin Drive for boost here. This is so good. Dude, what a good draw. Okay, so now our hand is for 9. Yeah, you have to pick 3 things because I went boost, which is, like, really good. I really hope they don't pick 2 things again, thinking that there was a mistake. I hope they read the game log over here and realized what happened. Hey, sub 631. Thanks for whoever subbed to YouTube. I appreciate it. Guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. Means a lot. We're definitely taking Rise from the Ashes. They can keep their cash in. That thing costs 4. And then we get to play Maximum Velocity. So 5, 9, 19, and then 18 is 37 points. Dude, this, like, there's just so much value out of this deck, dude. Like, you get so much value. That was me. I'm just so bad at remembering to sub. Oh, that's hilarious, man. That's so funny. Well, I appreciate you subbing, man. It means a lot. I appreciate you being in the chat and hanging out too, man. I've met a lot of really cool people, like, playing Flesh and Blood both in person and both from streaming. So it means a lot when people are like, you know, coming back and hanging out in the chat. Like, you know, it's a very nice feeling to like build a community and get to know people. You gotta give me a card too, bud. So we went from like completely being on the back foot here from our opponent doing all the damage to like now we are probably going to win the game next turn. We just had a 37-point turn. That's what we determined it was, right? You're going to have to arsenal that one, big guy. Yeah, so we just had a 37-point turn. 5 from the Twin Drive, 4 from the Harpoon, 10 from the Maxx V is 19, and then we got to do Mechanoid 3 times, which is 18. 19 and 18's 37. So that's pretty good. It's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. We're here for the summer. So our opponent just conceding. Okay, so good game, opponent. I don't know that we would have won that game had that game gone a little differently. We did manage to actually put the Mechanoid into play on turn 3, which was pretty cool. I think we would have still been able to win that game had our opponent been on Mask, but I'm not sure. So from there, our turn was going to be play Data Link, boosting, pitching Medex to play Zipper Hit for 5, boosting, and then go again. And then we were going to come in with the Mechanoid, which was just going to win the game. So that was pretty good. That was a pretty good turn cycle. All right. I'm going to take like 2 minutes here. I got to use the bathroom real quick. And when I come back, we'll be playing more Maxx. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. All right, short break and we're back. I did 40 damage today on Dash Database. Oh my gosh, dude. That's insane. That's like actually crazy. 40 damage on like that is like insane. And when you say Dash Database, do you mean like actual database, or do you mean Dash IO? Like, did you do like 40 damage in limited, or like it's something crazy? Good luck, have fun, and they picked for me to go first, which is what I would have picked regardless, so we're just going to submit our 60 and try to set up Mechanoid. Yeah, it was Blitz. Oh my gosh, dude, that sounds crazy. 40 damage in Blitz is like enough to make people like tilt into oblivion, I feel like. I mean, 40 in any format's enough to make people tilt into oblivion, honestly, but this is such a good setup turn for us. Oh my gosh. There's so much value in this, and then we're just going to arsenal this. Oh my gosh, this is insane. Can we actually just attack and play it this next turn? I don't think so. Double Teklo cores popped. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see that, like, I could definitely see it. Like, I'm having a stroke right now. I watched the Dash IO mirror in the PTI event earlier today, and it was really neat to watch and like see like how they like were playing. Plus, like, I really like watching Sam Dando play. Like, he's just a really stand-up guy. Like, Sam Dando is just cool. Sam Dando is just like an awesome guy. All right, so if I go 0 to 60 to start my turn with, I have a total of 5 resources available to me. I'm just going to take 5 here. I guess that's actually incorrect. I'm sorry. Sorry, opponent. I'm going to apologize here. I need to block. Yeah, I just need a block here. Dando is the reason I'm never changing my Azuri list. Dude, like, so Sam Dando is like not only just really good at the game, but Sam Dando is also like super nice. Like watching him like play on stream today and like interact was really neat. Like he seems like a very stand-up guy all the way around, honestly. I'm just gonna block with my heart because we're gonna flip Mechanoid here and try to end the game. Oh, they're playing Cogworks Space Legs here. Okay, so maybe it's worth having it in the sideboard. Maybe it's worth having AB, like Achilles Accelerator, like is just like good enough in like when you need AB. But like if you don't, I guess it's worth. But I guess if you don't, Cogworks Space Legs is just better. Oh, so we banished a Hyperdriver, which gives us an extra attack on our Mechanoid, which is awesome. We're going to play our Hyperdriver. Yes, we're going to crank, and then we're going to play Mechanoid. And we're going to get rid of all 3 of these. And we're just going to go ahead and come in for 6 here. Like, this is so good. We're like, the value. The value. Was that turn 2? We just turn 2 flipped this. If this was high octane to Arsenal, we could literally turn 3. So let's see. We did nothing, and then we went 4 and 10. And then if we had a 40-point turn, we could literally deal 50 points in 3 turns worth of the game, which is so good. Like, that have to put our opponent so far on the back foot, it'd be crazy. The value there is unreal. 0 to 60, 0 to 60. I guess actually it's well, I don't know. So if we go 0 to 60, 0 to 60, pitch Combustible Courier to play Harpoon, we get to see 3 cards. Play Hyperdriver, crank, and then come in with the Mechanoid. So it ends up being a 14 point turn, which is like, you know, it's not super good, but it's like we're setting up here, trying to like make our hand better. Yeah, washing your hands of all the lucky garbage I'm getting right now. I believe that, man. I mean, my hand's also like not super powerful. I could just block some here. My opponent is boosting, so we could just block. Like, you wouldn't have to try very hard to talk me into just like blocking 8 right here. It's not like crazy to me. Do. We're cool for the summer. Activate Maxx. So now they have 2 hyperdrivers in play. They did crank their hyperdriver, and they're going to come in with Banksy. So we're definitely just going to block with a 0 to 60 here. Absolutely zero reason to do anything else. Like it's attack for 2 or block 3 and irrelevant on hit effect as far as everything's concerned. Banksy's such a funny weapon. Like, it's just a giant wrench. We were talking about this last night at like my LGS when we were drafting. We were drafting the new set last night. We were talking about this and like just how like how funny it is that Banksy is like literally just a giant wrench. Let's go ahead and get rid of another hyperdriver. So we're just setting up a hyperdriver and coming in for 6. If our opponent keeps having these really good hands where they don't want to block and they just want to take damage to try and race us, then like I'm okay with that. Like, I mean, this hand's pretty good. We get to take their whole hand here. We can block with the Mechanoid because we get to go boost, harpoon into harpoon because we get an extra resource from the hyperdriver. So 5, 9, 13, 19. Ooh, our opponent has a high octane turn here. This could be kind of scary. They pitched a red, so it's looking less frightening to me off the top here just because of... It's looking less frightening just because they pitched a red. Okay. So we still get to cover this up for 4, so I'm not like super worried about anything. Yeah, we got to block with this, so we'll just cover this up. And then I'll look to give them the Mechanoid here. We've already assembled the Mechanoid, so having a second one in your deck is completely worthless for anybody who's looking to get into Maxx. I'm honestly debating if I think taking 4 here is good because if I go to 33, I'm still up 9 points. And I think I want to block the Banksy here. Because if I block the Banksy, like if they come in with the Banksy, I definitely want to block it. Now, I did take a chance there on just not being able to block this turn because if they pitched a red there, then I wasn't going to be able to block with that, which meant I was just going to pitch it for Maxx, which would have been fine. Like, it wouldn't have been the end of the world or anything, but... So let's go boost. It's going to be a pretty good turn here. I'm probably going to avoid blocking with the Mechanoid the rest of the game. Blocking with the Mechanoid, like, kind of like one more time or two, like, kind of puts me in a spot where I might just lose access. Yeah, see, people think they only have to give 2 there, but because of the boost, they have to give 3. So if I block with the Mechanoid another time, I put myself in a spot where I can actually lose my Mechanoid to T-Bone, which would be bad for us. Let's take High Octane. I get the feeling that they also have Mechanoid in Arsenal too. Yeah, they've pitched 2 here. So I'm also kind of worried that they have one in Arsenal. I'm really hoping it's in their hand and they're forced to show it to me right here. Like, that's really what I'm hoping for. They showed me High Octane over another card. Okay, so it's not that. So I guess we just want to take the Twin Drive here because it's their best card. I guess if we took a blue last turn and then took a blue this time, like, I don't know that I'd ever do that, considering we know... Like, considering that, like, we have an idea that they have the Mechanoid here, I don't think... Like, I don't think there's a world where I'm ever just going to take 2 blues. Like, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. Hopefully they just don't have it here. They can't play Mechanoid here because they don't have a Hyperdriver in their hand. Even if they have one in their arsenal, they have a blue and a red, they can't play it. Yeah. Like, yeah, they're just going to concede there because that game was so over. It was sad how over that game was. So... Pitch T-Bone to play Jumpstart, gaining a resource, play Med-X, boosting all of this, then Data Link. Then we'll probably Arsenal the Data Link and then come in for 6. So it would have been 5, 9, and it would have been 15 with Arsenaling a Data Link, trying to set up. TT? I'm not sure what you mean, man. Sorry, I'm not. That's like a shorthand for something. I'm sorry. I don't know what it means. We played 4 turns and an AVPT of 17.67. I mean, that's what happens when you flip the Mechanoid on turn 2. Like, we literally just flipped Mechanoid on turn 2. Like, just an insanely good game for us. We're getting all these aggro decks that I like to, like, that we're wanting to play against and trying to set up into. So, like, this is what we want to do. Oh, crying face. Okay, I see it now. Thanks for helping me get there, man. I appreciate it. Ooh, this hand does not block well, but this hand does set up well, so I'm going to take the first Gadachi. I'm probably going to take both the Gadachis if I'm just being real. Yeah, I think we're just going to take both the Gadachis here. Okay, well, we're definitely going to block that. Like, I'm never going to give the equipment there. Like, on turn 0, I'm always just going to give 2 cards there. Like, they can't pay for anything, so I don't know what they'd be discarding. I think this thing just says hit me for 3 right here. Well, we're going to set these up. Like, we're going to crank one, and then we're not going to crank the second one. We're going to Arsenal the Harpoon. This hand is very, very good. This hand's insane, actually. Zipper hit, T-Bone, Harpoon, and then have some resources floating. So we're just going to try and use our equipment this turn and try to, like, get ahead with our... Let's see, what is this? I mean, I guess technically if we needed to, we could block with Zipper hit. Is it worth? Like, we're taking away 5 points to stop one of their on-hit effects here. So if we go T-Bone, T-Bone, Harpoon, activate Heart, come in with this. Right? We get 2 resources from the Hyperdrivers, but we're forced to give up 5 points to do it. Man, that's tough. I hate giving up a red Zipper hit here, but I think it's worth. They have an Ancestral Empowerment here. That'd be pretty bad for us. Yeah. Like, I just, honestly, I don't think you can play around Ancestral Empowerment. Unless it's like a situation where it's like, oh, if they have it, I lose the game. Like, maybe then. But, like, I think you just kind of have to commit to blocking when you can against this deck. I really hope we don't have to block with anything else. But, honestly, the way their hand is lined up, we might just have to. Like, this hand is probably just going to be block 6. Come in for 3 and then set up another hyperdriver. Like, probably what we're going to end up doing. Okay. Or they're going to just make me block. They actually, oh, they couldn't banish anything. So that card was just 4. Okay. We'll get a couple of resources here. They'll give us snaps, like they don't care about that. And then we'll activate Maxx. No, we won't crank, and then we'll pass. Now, again, this is a pretty good hand. We have Expedite, Data Link, Zipper Hit into Harpoon. We can block with the blue Expedite to try and slow their turn down here. I'm really going to hope they don't have another one. I'm not going to block around it. Back-to-back turns. Wow. Okay. Like, again, I'm just not going to do it. Like, it's not, it won't, you won't ever see me do it, honestly. I don't play around Ancestral Empowerment. I don't play around Razor. Like, I don't play around a lot of those cards. These Katsus, man, I mean, my opponent's having what I would call a very good draw right now. This has been pretty solid. I guess I can give Expedite, HyperX, and Tekla Foundry Heart here to stop this. We're playing around the breaking scales this way. They probably wouldn't push it, but I'm not going to take any chances here. Okay, so now they have Whelming Gust Wave. They have things they can actually get. Our opponent has had Searching Strike, Bonds of Ancestry 2 hands in a row, and they've had a Ancestral Empowerment to push it through 2 hands in a row. They've played 3 hands, and 2 of them they've had Ancestral Empowerment on. That's not a super common thing you'll run into. I'm just probably going to take whatever they do from here because I need to get some offense going. Like, we're falling behind too quickly. Like, when you get into this, like, you're blocking with all your cards in your hand, you're not going to win against your opponent. I'm just going to take 3. And I'm just going to hope that they block with a card here. And I'm going to hope that, like, Harpoon, like, we can use Harpoon to, like, tear their hand alive here. I feel like that's what has to happen. Like, I feel like that's just kind of how it has to go. Like, I think, like, we're down too many points too early. If we're going to actually get back into the game, like, we're going to have to, our opponent's going to have to, like, deem this worth blocking or deem something we're going to do worth blocking, and then Harpoon's going to have to tear a really good card out. Excuse me. Okay, that's good. That's a good start for us. They were going to play that regardless, so being able to, like, now we know that we're going to get the cards out of their hand that we want, which is really solid for us. They also gave up a point on... They also gave up a point of their defense reaction there. But they probably don't want to block with anything else. Okay, so... And then they're going to give us Flick Flack. Okay, so they're not really going to take any damage, but their hand is pretty mid here, so we're going to take their hand apart. Like, their hand wasn't great. Yeah, we're definitely going to take the Gust Wave here. Oh, they don't get the block with it, so the Flick Flack value doesn't count? Oh, you love to see that. That's so good. I wonder if that actually works that way, or if that's like a bug or something. This hand's not very good. I think I'm just going to block here. Dachi's be gone. I do like that our opponent could not throw the Kodachis at us, like, more, at least, like, they couldn't, like, have them with go again here, so we can just take one this turn. Now, unfortunately, our hand doesn't really do much. Like, if we go Jumpstart for 5, boosting, we get to have a 7-point turn here. I mean, we could activate Heart and set up if we wanted to. 2 points are set up here. Let's just go ahead and set up, I guess. Banishing double Twin Drive is definitely not what we wanted to see at all. So, Expedite, Med-X, Harpoon. If it hits, we pistol. Or block Med-X, and then we get to go Expedite, Expedite, Harpoon. I mean, I'm really hoping they don't have the third Ancestral Empowerment here. I believe Flick Flack says when you block, and maybe Harpoon gets around that. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking. Let's read Flick Flack, actually. If the next card you defend with this turn has a card with combo, it gets +2. So I'm assuming that, like, Flick Flack is just, like that me having... I'm assuming that the Harpoon taking it out of their hand and not letting them actually block with it is just getting around that line of text, which is kind of convenient for us. So this comes in for 2. So let's go ahead and boost this, because we're going to need to, like, have our other action point. Like, we're going to need to get our action point back. We got a little bit of ground we need to make up this game. Like, this is not going super well for us. No, I don't want to crank. And then I'm just going to pass. Like, and again, like, this hand's just, like, it doesn't talk to me. Which means I'm probably just going to end up blocking with a card and passing here. Maybe blocking with 2 cards here. Like, and then, like, we get to attack a little bit. Unfortunately, we just run more cards out of our deck playing this value game. Like, we haven't had a game yet where we've been able to, like, really just, like, get crazy value out of. So let's think about this, actually. Is this a turn we can try to flip the script and go ham here? Med-X, Jumpstart, Harpoon. Put Hyperdriver into play. I think we're just going to go to 14 here. Like, I think if we, like, we're giving our opponent a 16-point life lead, but we have to have a turn where we try and flip it. Like, it just, that's the period. That's just how it is. We're not going to win the game just sitting here staring at our opponent playing this fair back and forth game where we're blocking, where we're each blocking, we're each attacking a little bit. It just won't get it done. It just, we lose too many cards out of our deck by boosting over the course of this game. Yeah, so again, this costs 2. I'm not going to block. Like, they can't, like, they couldn't do anything. They can't razor that. They can't snap that. Like, there's absolutely no reason for us to do anything. Is it better to play Combustible Courier here? We go down to 1, up to 3. Honestly, let's just play the Combustible Courier and let's try to get some value out of the Combustible Courier here. We boosted 2 high octanes away and we haven't seen one yet, or if I did, I pitched it and I don't remember it. No risk, no reward, dude. Absolutely, I agree. So they're letting the combustible courier hit. That they have a defense reaction, which, I mean, I guess they're using a defense reaction to block a 2/5. So yeah, like real value here. So we hit our opponent for 2, and now we're coming in with a 1 for 8 with Go Again here, which is really solid. For what it's worth, I play blue combustibles in my deck because they play so well into it plays so well into Dromai. Like it just being able to kill a small dragon with a blue combustible courier and still apply pressure is very, very good. We boosted over 1 mech. We haven't seen another one, I don't think. Okay, so now they're going for Flick Flack here. Again, our Harpoon just playing around the whole Flick Flack text is going to be like insane. We'll take the Whelming Gust Wave here. I think that's a better pick here. It stops them from Kadachiing us. And then with our last resource here, we get to just put our Hyperdriver into play. Actually, I get to load pistol, and then I get to activate Maxx, not crank and pass, which is better than actually just putting that into play. Let's block. Let's go. Let's go Expedite here. I hate boosting away our Harpoon, but if they decide that their hand is good enough and they want to let this hit, then we actually just get to put our Hyperdriver into play. And we can actually crank it and then just pistol them twice. Okay, they have a defense reaction here. I think our opponent runs all their defense reactions like as so that they can set up and like try to. It's either to play anti-mech strategy or it's actually to play. It's either to play anti-mech strategy or it's actually to try and fatigue us over the course of the game, which is an interesting thought. Yeah, let's crank, and then let's come in for 2. Like, now I'm basically just going to block until I can actually find my Mechanoid. Well, this hand is... Like, I mean, this hand could be really good. Taking the Kadachis. This is our last high octane, so I actually really need to keep this in the deck if I can. I guess I need to pitch it to pistol here. Maybe I'm just blocking 6. Yeah, I guess I hate, right? Like we boosted 2 high octanes. Like I hate not having the high octane to pair with like our like Mechanoid combo. But I'm thinking that maybe if we can get the Mechanoid set up, we might just be able to like set up enough value here. All right, this hand's good. We just have to. Oh my gosh. God, I don't want to block this because it feels like they're just baiting me. All right, I'm going to take a chance. Rough gamble, and the Katsu just had it. I mean, yeah, like, it's unfortunate Katsu just does that sometimes. Like, I think we're going to have to, like, maybe we're supposed to block 6 here and then play our Data Link. Man, they're gonna snap this. Like 100% they're gonna snap this. Okay, or they're not gonna snap this. And there's no way for me to keep all my hyperdrivers and do this all in one turn. I wonder if I bet if I say no blocks, they snap that. No, we're not gonna boost. Weird. Yeah, that was a weird turn. I bet they snap it if we don't block, honestly. Let's see what we find here. Okay. They're on yellow Flick Flax, which is so weird to me. Like, that's a lot of defensive cards in their deck. All right, so this is block 6. Take the Kodachis to 9, block 6, and then... Like, we are down to 11 cards, which means we're only going to really get to have, like, realistically one big turn where we try to go all in. And I don't know what that's going to look like. It's going to have to be our Max V turn, I guess. What is going on right now? Like, they can't give this go again, so if they do pummel it, like, fine. Like, I'm not going to give them 2 cards here. Them drawing a card off their mask is irrelevant. Let's Arsenal the Zipper Hit because it does the most damage. And see, we had a 9th piece under our Mechanoid here, so it actually, like, we get the most value out of our Hyper X 3 there. If we had more cards in our deck, we could block for longer, but we just don't have a lot of cards in our deck, so we're just, like, and we don't have a high octane left. Boosting over our 2 high octanes is kind of, like, tough. If we block with the Mechanoid here, we get to go Twin Drive. But we don't have an extra action point here. Like, so we don't really get any value out of doing anything. Let's think here. They have one more Ancestral Empowerment left in their deck. We haven't seen it yet, right? Like, let's just look. Yeah, there's one more, so they're probably sitting there going, yeah, like, just block with the Mechanoid and then, like, get blown out. Let's see. 3 times 8 is 24, so we have to find something else to put pressure on them with. I'm just going to block 6. I definitely did not want to block with a Twin Drive. I, like, 1000% did not want to block with a Twin Drive. Man, if we could manage to win this game through, like, even Katsu's, like, weird fatigue strategy, it would be, like, it would be such a feels good moment for us. Like, and we have some life points left that we can play with. Like, this next turn is going to have to be it. And this has to be an empowerment. Like, this has to be the empowerment, just based off of how they played. I can't imagine there's a world where it's anything else. Well, that's not great. They give us a card. And we come in for 6. I'm afraid we just don't have enough cards here. I'm worried we're just going to fall a little short right here. Like, I'm going to take the Kodachis here, and then hopefully they don't have a fiver here they're going to throw at us. Hopefully it's like 4, so that I can block it with the Mechanoid. Man, I am just going to block this with the Mechanoid. There's no reason not to. And then... so they're actually going to take a card out of our hand. So it wasn't? Interesting. It's intriguing that it wasn't Empowerment after all of that. So we've seen all of their Sync Belows. How many Flick Flacks have we seen? We've seen red Flick Flack, yellow Flick Flack, 2 red Flick Flacks, and a Fate Foreseen. They pitched a Fate Foreseen earlier. So, like, they have some, like, pretty heavy fatigue stuff there. Oh, I guess I'm just supposed to block there. Yeah, because the breaking scales just always kills me. I don't think I was winning that game either way. Like, I was too worried about trying to set up my big turn there that I didn't think about the breaking scales turn, or like the line that they could have had for the breaking scales. But I think I'm always just supposed to... like, block right there. So if I give T-Bone there... actually, I think I give No, I give T-Bone there. So if I give T-Bone, my turn is come in with the Mechanoid. I just don't have enough cards in my deck to block what they're doing the rest of the game. And I also don't have enough cards in my deck to block and like set up a big max V turn. Because without the maximum velocity, or without the high octane, I can't maximum velocity and throw the Mechanoid in the same turn. So that's a little unfortunate. I probably should have registered earlier in the game what they were up to, actually. Like, I probably should have registered earlier what was going on and, like, played differently based off of that. Now, we did pitch some reds, and we did try to set up a little bit, so it wasn't like I just completely didn't play around it. Yeah, if they go Dachi times 2, and if they go Dachi times 2 and just block out forever, it's just an L. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's... like, Kodachis are so hard to fatigue. Like, you just, it's almost impossible to fatigue Kodachis, honestly. But we needed to find, I think we need to find the next mech suit like a turn or two earlier. Unfortunately, I think our game plan, like, we just fell behind too early. Like, it wasn't like I wasn't boosting and I wasn't trying to, like, play offense, but our opponent was doing just enough to keep us to block every turn that we were having to, like, walk the life totals down, and that game really favors Katsu just because of their powerful cards that they have access to, so... anyway, guys, that's it tonight. Appreciate everybody hanging out. 5-3. I think last time I played last time we played Maxx, we went like 4-4 or 3-5, or maybe we went like 3-3. I can't remember. So I definitely had a better record tonight. The changes that I made definitely moving in the right direction for what we're looking for from Maxx. I'm going to continue to work on the deck off stream and kind of work on it a little bit and see what we can figure out. Lexi won the PTI. Oh, shocking! It's crazy. Lexi's just the best deck in the game right now. Like, there's just no question about it. Like, especially like a experienced and like poised like Lexi player will just like win events all the time. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys being hanging out with me tonight and playing games with me. I will be back tomorrow, actually. I'll be streaming tomorrow night, probably be a little bit later than usual. Probably somewhere between 8 and 9 Eastern time. Just kind of depends on when we get back and what's going on. So it might be a little bit of a shorter stream later in the evening, but I'll be on tomorrow night. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys then. Have a good night, guys.